Welcome back to Careers with Miss V. I'm so excited to zoom around the world again today. We're going out to the Netherlands where we meet Andrei Mankou, who is the business developer from Ants. Welcome, Andrei.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm so excited to have you here with me and take some time to speak to me about your career journey and some of the accomplishments that you've come through on this journey. I know young people right now listening to this will be interested not just in the career, but more so in the journey. So I thought we could start with the younger version, the younger Andrei, and taking us back to when you were a teenager and going through secondary school, trying to understand what the next step would be for you. Do you remember being a younger teenager?
Yeah, it was pretty time ago, but still I remember it quite well. So first, I would like to say thank you for this invitation, and with a big pleasure, I will be happy to share my experience and maybe to give some tips. So when I was at the high school, I was not really sure what to do, where to study, and where I would like to live because I was born and grew up in Belarus, in Eastern Europe, and I was thinking really hard for a year or two about my plans, about my future. And I decided to study political science first in Lithuania, which was the closest country, but part of European Union. Because from my childhood, I really liked to travel, and this option was the best for me because it was a good spot to travel across the Europe and across the globe. But when I moved to Lithuania, I was 17 years old and I was completely alone. And I was unable to study political science because the university decided to close this program. So I started to study cultural heritage and tourism. And it was a wonderful time because I was able to see a lot of different countries for the first time. And yeah, so I spent there 4 years, almost 5 years in Lithuania. But then I just realized that maybe tourism, it's not that something I would like to do in the future. I mean, I like to travel, but I not really like to work with that. So I decided completely to change my life and to change my major subject. And uh, I moved to Poland basically, and I started my master degree program in international business and international relationship. And I think that here might be a first lesson that it's never late to change your life. It's never late to to do something different because the key point here is to do something that you really like and something that really brings you an inspiration and motivate you every day. So yeah, something like
That's a
that.
that's a really interesting. I love how you took us on that journey. And you're right. There's no due time. There's no time frame to what we can be accomplishing. And I think it's important for young people to really understand that that first step isn't going to be their last step. There's going to be a journey of career experiences. Let's zoom into your current day, your role as a business developer. First, I know that young people don't really understand what these roles mean and what job descriptions are really like. And second, I don't think they really understand what the environment of those roles entails. So I thought you could talk to us a little more about the role and then some of the things that you didn't know you would do when you took on the role and you only learned by actually gaining that experience.
Sure. Actually, this role was completely new for me and something completely different because for the previous 5 years, I used to work mostly in the different areas of customer service or customer success. And when I decided to apply to this job and when I found it, I was first of all really inspired by the company because this company ANS was founded by a group of students uh, as a university project, and then they were able to develop it to a real company to help people, to help the students, to help the teachers across different educational institutions to make examination process easier. So when I applied, I didn't really know what I'm gonna do, And I would say, from my perspective, business developer and business development in general, it's a kind of area where you have a very big amount of freedom, and where you need to build a different type of relationship between your company and different organizations and different people around the globe and around completely different institutions and countries. And I think this part I like the most because every day I'm meeting a lot of different people uh, from different countries and completely different background. And the key point here is just to be open, to be curious, and then everything is going to be fine.
So I'm just thinking about the journey of your education and where you are now. Your organization is using the click of a button for their users and that grading system. How is technology evolving so fast, and how are you as a business developer keeping in touch and staying on top of these different evolving technologies?
Mhm. Actually, it's not that easy because when I was a student, even 1.5 years ago, I didn't even know that such a product exists in educational world. I had no idea that it's possible to make it so easy and etc. So I think here it's very important to be flexible and try to learn every day in completely different areas. Just to be curious, because basically life is a big adventure, and we need to be ready that it might be a good day or bad day, but all the time we need to be positive and curious. I believe, and also trying to be not only in one field of knowledge, because now in the modern world, a lot of different things, they're very close to each other. And the same as was with the crypto world, it appeared a few years ago, and now I'm not sure if really someone knows everything about it, and it's totally okay just because as a field of knowledge it's too big. But you as a person and you as a professional, you need to try to build your own way of knowledge and be really a kind of a unique specialist. Yeah.
Amazing. So in hearing you speak to me, I'm hearing some key elements. One is be open to opportunities. Two is to really evolve through your role and be okay with that constant, you called it flexibility. And the top three things that you haven't really mentioned, but I'm feeling it through the story, is to be adaptable. So this
Yeah.
idea of adapting to change, especially with you being 17 when you left home and moved abroad, how is that journey of travel and now meeting with lots of different people, as you said, every day in through your work? How does that experience of different culture and the diversity of differences that you're encountering, how does that help in your career, and what are some of the challenges because of that diversity?
Uh, I will start maybe with the challenges, because living in Europe and Netherlands and Poland, it's pretty close. It's 2 hours by plane. So I didn't really expect that such a close countries might be so different, because a way of doing everything here is completely different to my previous experience. Food preferences or style of working and etc. For example, in the Netherlands, people they people and the company in general, they really care about every single worker, and it's very important here to be comfortable, to have, like, you need to be very self-independent here, because your manager is mostly kind of your mentor. He's not just give you some tasks and you need to do them. So you need to also think and be more self-motivated, I would say. And the job, the working processes in general, they're not that strict, and in, for example, as Eastern Europe. And I would say that my entire journey, it's kind of a way of discover who I am, because I used to live in 3 different countries for 8 years, and I would say that every next country was kind of a next step in my personal and professional development together. So I was just following some ideas, following some motives in my head, and I'm still trying to find this ideal spot where I can not only develop myself as a professional, but also kind of balance between life and work, and just trying to enjoy what I'm doing.
It sounds like the same or very similar experiences that young people have when they're trying to discover that first step. And I appreciate that you brought this reality to the conversation, because I think young people think they're supposed to get it right at 17. And if they don't get it right, the rest of their lives will just crumble. And what I hear when I interview professionals like you from across the globe is we just need to take the next right step. So now that you're looking back at your experiences, and I know that your top tips are learning languages and cultures, realistically, everything you've told us right now, it makes that really understandable. Being open to new opportunities and challenges, and then being flexible. Can you give us an example of a situation where you had to use those three top tips to enjoy your professional day and also feel like you're able to really stay on track and feel like you're growing through the process of your career?
I can tell you the example of one of my first jobs. I used to be a part of US bank team in Poland, and when I graduated, I was very shy and I was not sure in my English, and I was just searching on LinkedIn and some job portals about new job because I really just need some money to pay for a flat and etc. And I found this application in a bank, and I never worked in financial industry before. So the second problem was that this job, it was a job in a call center for American and Canadian customers, and I was completely not sure in my English skills. So when I just started, I was worried every day and really almost like kind of crying sometimes even, because I was really scared and afraid to do so. But from my current perspective, I can see that this was one of my best jobs, just because I was able to develop so many things. I was able really to improve my English skills and to meet amazing people there. So I think it's just a good example that sometimes you're not sure what you would like to do, and but it might be a right decision, and only after you can realize it, as I'm doing right now. So yeah, just I think my general tip, it's just don't be afraid. And even if you think that maybe you're not the best match, you it, it's always good just to try and to see, because uh, at least most of my friends and most of the people I know, not all of them knew when they were 17 or even 20 what they would like to do in their lives. So they were just trying different things, and a lot of them, they're really good specialists in what they're doing right now.
And everything that you're saying, I think, is also really useful for anyone at any stage of their career. You know, we've seen many people through the pandemic lose their jobs or having to find a new employment opportunity. We heard of the great resignation, this whole, the rise in people wanting to leave their jobs to start new. So, what you're saying right now, and any young person listening, I think what I'd like them to take away is that the journey you describe of taking the next right step will be something that they will want to keep doing through their lives. Thank you so much, Andrei. It's been a real pleasure having this conversation with you,
Thank
learning
you.
through your experiences. And what I really most appreciated was the genuine sharing of the reality of a journey. And I think sometimes when young people listen to career stories, they only hear the success of going from, point A to CEO. But what you've shown us is that process and the choices that you've made. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Andrei.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that brings us right to the end of another incredible conversation. Today, I was speaking with Andrei Mankou, who is currently based in the Netherlands. He came to us to talk about his career journey from being a young student and learning about making those next choices to his current role as a business developer for Ants, the satisfying grading platform. Thank you for watching, and I
Thank
will
you.
see you at my next Let's Talk Careers with Miss V.